Following a year of console exclusivity to the PlayStation 5, Arcane's splendid Deathloop arrives on Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X today, and it will be hitting Game Pass. There are some minor tweaks and changes, including all the accessibility selections introduced over the final year as properly as a new prolonged ending, however past that it is the equal gorgeous game. So here is our overview of the original, first posted in September 2021, to let you recognize a little more. Deathloop is about killing the human beings who are killing time. Set in an alternate 70s that feels extra like the Away's future of Dishonored's Crystal than phase of Earth's history, it is a freeform, first-person combine of shooting, assassination, hacking and sorcery in which you win and rewind a single day each to test with equipment and manipulate ambitions such that you can bloodbath them all earlier than darkness falls. The lead is Colt Vaughn, a hulking amnesiac who quickly after being hacked to dying by using a mysterious female wakes on a time-locked Arctic island overrun by means of a hedonistic Bond film enterprise referred to as Eon, to undo the rippling anomaly preserving the island's endless murder party in motion. Colt need to slay the 8 visionaries who preside over 4, one after the other loading areas, which additionally includes digging into the island's buried secrets, slaughtering no cease of rank-and-file Eternalists, and unraveling the riddle of his personal presence. Amongst the visionaries is Juliana, the aforesaid thriller lady, incorrigible nuisance caller and the game's second playable character, who stars in a multiplayer mode the place you invade the worlds of different cults and kill them for unlocks. What follows is a stylish, bloodthirsty, and thoughtful remodeling of thoughts from Arcane's different games, which clears away a little of Dishonored's haughty perfectionism and offers you sufficient leeway to run amok. This is captured via the artwork direction, which retains Dishonored's brooding. Salt-soaked shores, however, covers them with neon signboards, boutique low-poly statues, and jaunty space-age cabins, and top-crusters carnival with heady overtones of Tarantino and Wolfenstein, perched atop the ruins of a great deal much less forgiving game. I'm no longer positive it is Arcane's most adventurous or stunning work. For all the louder presentation, it occasionally pulls its punches. But it would possibly be Arcane's most straightforwardly fun game. To start with, Deathloop simply feels like Dishonored with weapons and devices pilfered from Q's workshop. Among the first equipment, the bleary-eyed Colt receives his fingers on our Wi-Fi hackamajig for use in opposition to protection sensors and automated turrets, and a fancy bomb that can be morphed into a tripwire, a landmine, or a grenade. You may want to play via the complete sport with simply these devices, mining choke points and creatively rearranging the defenses. But you may have a whole lot greater enjoyable if you make use of slabs, magical capabilities plucked from the cooling our bodies of the visionaries. Shift is Deathloop's model of Blink, the short-range teleport that propelled Arcane to stardom lower back in 2012. It's nonetheless an absolute showstopper, elegantly abbreviating the technique of creeping and flanking, and offering handy get entry to the island's many rooftops, towers, and subterranean facilities. As superpowers go, it is rivaled solely via Nexus, aka Dishonored 2's Domino, which hyperlinks adversaries such that what takes place to one takes place to all. Unlike with Domino, there may be no difficult restriction on the variety of Nexus connections, permitting you to silence a heaving dance floor with a single bullet. Or you should launch all these dancers into the ceiling with Carnesis, the Deathloop spin on Dishonored's pull ability. Pairing mods sparks any range of possibilities. You should installation shift with Ether, aka near invisibility, to grow to be a best ghost, or Carnesis with Havoc, aka Berserker mode, to come to be Darth Vader storming hallways single-handed. The guns, meanwhile, come in acquainted colorations, however, are a deal with to wield, thanks now not least to some nuanced rumble feedback. Arcane Lion co-developed Wolfenstein, Youngblood, and you can see that trip in the gleam and heft of Deathloop's firearms, which vary from thundering hand cannons and pneumatic nail guns to drum-fed shotguns that appear like weaponized carousel projectors. Probably Deathloop's largest disappointment is that all the slabs have precedence in Dishonored. You may want to additionally argue that it does not steal enough. Some of the Outsider's more strange items have been left on the table, like conjuring up spectral assassins or reworking yourself into rats and fish. But what Deathloop lacks in phrases of character tools, it makes up for in phrases of freedom to use them. Your electricity bar recharges, for starters, so you can wield all these intoxicating capabilities except scraping round for elixirs. You additionally have greater license to screw up thanks to Colt's reprised slab, a tracer-style rewinding ability which in reality offers you 3 stabs at every degree earlier than the complete day resets. These tweaks are the mark of a gentler, extra playful game, structured to reward improvisation and investigation as an alternative than lock you into the story, which is right here conveyed greater through backstory files and charismatically written communicate than cutscenes. It's no longer so a great deal an enchantment on Arcane's different sims as an exchange of tune. The Dishonored video games insist on a suspenseful friction between breadth of selections and severity of consequences. Yes, you can dream up killing strategies past the designer's wildest nightmares, however the soul of a metropolis hangs on your conduct. And whilst you can replay tiers in search of extra-dependent or innovative solutions, you cannot, pre-patching, anyway, fireplace up any stage and mess round as you please. Deathloop, by using contrast, is a devil-may-care vacation album of places, intervals and layouts that solely syncs up into a linear marketing campaign when you favor it to. An idea you're at the mercy of the clock, however the time of day solely advances when you cross between areas, and if you are in a rush, you can continually hit fast forward in the mission lobby. Deathloop's placing does not reset totally between deaths. Certain key tendencies persist. The first is Colt's increasing reminiscence of events, with matters like mission goals and passwords easily preserved on your stock display. There's an autofill choice when the usage of keypads, an essential shortcut in a sport with dozens of codes to learn. Once you have killed a unique visionary and harvested their research, you can additionally preserve weapons, slabs and trinkets, aka smaller improvements such as quicker aiming or exploding projectiles, between runs with the aid of infusing them with residium power gathered from objects in the world. These objects are plentiful, and you can usually reap residium through recycling objects between forays, so gathering an arsenal is lots less complicated than in the common roguelike. I nearly in no way observed myself touring areas really to scrounge for weapons and materials. Slab mods, meanwhile, are received via killing the slab's proprietor over and over, a high-quality incentive to revisit instances and locations and improvise afresh the use of powers and perception received from the preceding murder. It does away with the tedium of XP grinding, whilst concurrently spotlighting the DIY ethos for which Arcane is famous. The mods themselves once more recall Dishonored, however that would not make them any much less entertaining. Employ the Shift Slab self-explanatory swapper mod to go away a path of disoriented humans in your wake, shifting them into the paths of their personal grenades, or leaving them to screech confusedly on windowsills. Or you can mod Nexus such that the impact spreads between characters as they ignore every different as stern a lesson on the significance of social distancing as any. There are 2 halves to Deathloop's story. In the first, you kill the visionaries 1 through 1 and reap their powers, infiltrating and studying the eccentricities of layers that vary from punch-drunk style stay motion taking pictures publications to sprawling citadel masquerades. In the second, you make the most your foreknowledge of occasions and get right of entry to the hidden areas to convey all and sundry together, possibly messing up one visionary's morning so that they figure out to come alongside to the night gala. The game's lore and mission menus are startlingly intuitive. Given the complexity of all this, there may be a daisy chain of clues and leads you can ponder, however all you virtually want are the short instructions you are given when you pick an area. The Visionaries and Eternalists themselves are a navy of clown-painted mayflies who can be slaughtered over and over except penalty and remorse. They're additionally a bunch of extraordinarily inebriated humans with minimal training, which helps give an explanation for away AI shortcomings like everyone charging heedlessly into your sights, and leads to some laugh fight chatter. Hey, it is that one guy, one girl slurs a 2D earlier than you land on her machete first. Fine, I wager I'll cover myself then, complains one man to his shredded brethren as you circle spherical his position. It's regularly really worth stopping to watch the Eternalists go about their business, whether or not they're getting loaded in the bars or taking gain of their immortality to kill every different for kicks. While exploring One Roof in Upton, the island's social hub, I stumbled on a lady industriously putting up a line of cereal bins so as to drop a landmine on somebody's head. Like Hitman, whose impact is additionally traceable in the modular marketing campaign shape and sure set-piece surroundings, kills, Deathloop's writing and characterization take rectangular intention at what the Great Gatsby known as the vast carelessness of the super-rich. The visionaries vary from elite scientists to ogreish rock stars and pampered artistes. They resemble traditional Bond villains at first. However, they communicate channels that greater modern-day mixture of sociopathy that sees billionaires making an attempt to reboot humanity on Mars whilst claiming that we all stay in the Matrix. While Deathloop stands out amongst blockbuster shooters for offering 2 black leads, the social divisions it explores are much less about race or, for that matter, gender or sexual orientation, extra about the reality-altering pressure of hideous portions of cash. The visionaries are a various bunch, however, at the quid of the day. They are all one and the equal awareness of not possible wealth. For all this, it is viable to view your aims with a positive pity. Eon's disciples would possibly assume they've shucked off mortality, however their refuge is a purgatory. It really is all foreplay except release. One issue you analyze early is that solely a tiny handful, inclusive of Colt and Juliana, preserve any consciousness of the reality that they've been reliving their first day for a while. The majority are caught on the threshold of immortality. They will in no way understand something past anticipation and hangovers. In many instances, if you are coming into a time loop, it is fine no longer to birthday celebration too tough the night time before. There are scientists who will in no way construct on their breakthroughs, and creatives who will by no means end their masterworks. There are characters who are caught continuously in abusive relationships, and randos doomed to function one and the identical odd job for eternity. Juliana and one different character aside, the solely character in a function to certainly revel in the time loop is Colt. So why, as she always asks you over the radio, are you in such a hurry to leave? I'd have appreciated Deathloop to take a few extra cues from Hitman. There are tips of social stealth, the advice that you can reap a cover to get admission to that nighttime birthday celebration incognito, for instance. However, it would not bloom into a full-on mingle up. The Eternalists usually comprehend you are coming, which skill that they continually behave like guards instead than civilians, and as Juliana warns you early on, everyone recognizes Colt's trademark leather-based jacket. It feels like a moderate overlooked opportunity. Given that this is an online game, I'd additionally have favored to see something like Hitman's Contracts mode, which let you assign a goal and killing approach for different gamers to master. In location of that, you get Juliana's facet of the game, which recollects Assassin's Creed's long-forgotten PvP multiplayer. Where Colt has his rewind ability, Juliana Slab lets her swap faces and outfits with any NPC, leaving a clone of herself on foot round whilst she play-acts as cannon fodder. In practice, I've located that a lot of Julianas simply run closer to the loudest noise firing a shotgun. However, given an accurately methodical opponent, Deathloop sings as a cat-and-mouse game. Juliana seals all the map's exits when she invades, obliging Colt to hack a radio tower to escape. As the invader, the apparent strategy is to encompass the tower with tripwires and landmines. However, you may additionally sick the Eternalist mob on Colt with the D-pad, or lay ambushes alongside the apparent routes to make your opponent's map expertise a disadvantage. If all this sounds like a chore, you can usually flip off the online. Although this capability that you will solely get to battle an AI-controlled Juliana as soon as in the game. There's additionally a restrict to how regularly any given Juliana participant can invade you to end high-level griefers, ruining the journey for greener Colts. Appropriately for recreation about time travel, Deathloop can be studied as a sport each for novices and historical fingers, an available introduction to Arcane's grittier immersive sims, or effective refinement of the Dishonored style. Where it feels most like a concluding act is in how it builds on a theme in Arcane's work about video games as skill of each coercion and liberation, trapping you in order to empower and encourage you to smash out of them. continually difficult you to assume of some opportunity that has escaped the developer's calculations, to the factor of sabotaging the phantasm entirely. I've argued in the previous that this contradiction is imperative to the immersive sim genre. However, Arcane is special in making it a query of story and setting. We see this in the opening and closing moments of 2017's Prey, in Dishonored 2's Clockwork Mansion, and in the studio's penchant for villains who are domineering recreation designers and all however name. And we see it in Deathloop, which takes that curious inside/outside questioning and applies it to time itself.